In this video, we'll see how we get data from HTML or from your JSP file to your servlet. So we'll be creating a simple form and then we will create few input tags. And that input tag data should be going to your servlet and we'll display that. Yes. So how do you transfer the data from JSP to servlet? So that is what we'll be seeing in this video. So I'll go ahead and create first a JSP file. So to create a JSP file, I have to go to web content. I can use the sample.jsp itself, the previous file what I created. I'll just remove the content and I can start using this file itself. Okay, so here I'll be writing I'll write the h1 tag and I'll say form data to servlet. Yes, and then here I'll create a simple form. And in this form tag, I will add action and method. So I'll be showing you the methods and action tag. So there are two methods what I'll be showing you here. Before that, we'll just create few inputs. So I'll say input, then I'll say type. I'll say the type as text, and then I have to give this name as email, and then I will say required, that is this is required, and I'll give a placeholder. So placeholder, I'll say it as enter email. Yes, so once I write this, then I get a simple input tag for email, and then now I have to write submit, right? So I'll say input type submit. So I'll say value submit. Yes, so now I have my input button also. So first I'll go ahead and verify this. So I'll right click on JSP and I'll say run on server. So let's verify if this HTML content is present. Okay, so you see I have my HTML content rendered. Now here I have an input tag which says enter email and I have an submit button. So we have a simple web content ready here. Now I have to write the logic, or how do I write the logic to send this data to my servlet? So how do you do that? So we have to first have an servlet. So you can go ahead and create in servlet, or I'll be using the previous servlet what I have used. You can go ahead and use the same, or you can write a new servlet. Now first I'll show you the method get. What happens if I use the method get, and how do I send the data? To send the data, action is very much important in your JSP form tag. So if you're using form tag, this action what we have given attribute, this specifies where the data should go. So my data should go to this servlet, right? So for that, I'll just copy this servlet name. Here you see this sample servlet. I'll go ahead and I'll copy this. Now once I've copied this servlet, I'll go back to this action and I'll paste it. So now when I click on submit button, so it says that in my form, it should go to this servlet sample servlet by the method get, which I'll be showing you in a while what happens if I use get and post. So this data should be sent. Okay. Now when this data is sent, I have to receive it on my servlet, right? So how do I receive it? So because I'm using here get, so I have to use here do get method here. So here I'll say string of email is equals to request dot, then I'll use a method called get parameter, and I have to write what parameter I have to get. So how do I specify what parameter I'm getting? So to go back, then you check here whichever form data you want. So you have to enter the name of that input tag. So what is the name of this input tag? Email, right? So I have to copy this and then I'll paste it in my request.getParam. That says that in that whatever you're getting, just get me the email and store it in this email variable. And then here I will create a print writer. So before that I'll say response dot set content type, I'll say it as HTML, text HTML, and here then I'll say print writer. Then I'll create an object called out, and I'll say response dot get writer. Yes, then I'll say out dot println, and within this I'll say the email entered is, and then I'll add this email variable. So whatever I get from whatever on submitting this form, whatever data I'm getting in my servlet, I'll be storing in this parameter, and then I'll be displaying it here. So if you have multiple, what if you have 5 such input tags, then you can go ahead and you can write here 5 request.get parameters with different names here. So if you are getting 6 data from your form, then you have to write 6 variables. 6 times you have to use request.get parameters and write the name for each and every input tags, name what you have, name attribute, and get the data. So now everything is done. Now we can run this. So I'll run on my JSP file. So I'll right click and I'll say run as, run on server. Okay, so my server is running now. So now I'll say enter email. I'll say, so I have entered a dummy email. Now on pressing submit, it goes to my servlet. You see, it goes to my servlet, and in their servlet, whatever form data I have filled, it's catching that using that request.get parameter. You can see this request.get parameter. It's catching that, and then it is storing in a variable called as email, and then using print writer I'm displaying it. So you see the email entered is, so I get this email entered is this. So you see, this is how you can send the data from JSP to your servlet using request.get parameter. So this is how you send the data to and fro between your JSP and servlet.